The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, what is up? It's Justin here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Adam here, and welcome to the live training today. Very excited all of you are on here. Can you guys let us know in the chat box if you can hear us okay by saying yes? That would be perfect. Tony, yes. Robert, yes. Mel, yes. Arthur, yes. Evander, yes. Dale, yes. Robert, yes. Okay, tons of yeses flying in. Very cool.
Awesome.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to just wait a little bit longer to make sure everyone who's planning on coming to the live training can get on today. But in the meantime, how was everybody's weekend?
Awesome.
Good.
Good.
Great. Looks like people had a good weekend. Awesome. I was at a music festival this weekend called Coachella. Have any of you heard of Coachella before? Type in yes if you have in the chat box. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, a few yeses coming through. No, yes, no. Yes, yes. Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, it's definitely a fun place. Lots of great musicians are there, and lots of great music. So I definitely recommend next year, or actually next week, they're doing another one. But plan on going next year to Coachella because it's definitely very, very fun, and it's over here in California in the desert. So it's a cool atmosphere, and I like it. It's my 8th year going, so something that I like to do.
Nice. Nice. All right. I think we are getting close to that time. Um, and let me see. How many of you guys did your homework from last week? Let me see in the chat. All right. Lots of yeses. A couple no's. That's okay. All right. Mostly yeses. Cool. All right. So, kind of like a recap of last week. Last week was all about, finding your passion and kind of narrowing down that passion into a certain topic and a certain product. That way you can take your knowledge and what you're passionate about and turning it into a product that has a lot of value and people will pay for that. And that way you are on to the next step, which we're going to be talking about in this training. So write down in the comments right now, what is your product going to be about? Okay, because that's what we went over last time, turning your kind of like passion into more of a specific product idea. Because we talked about how, having a passion about soccer, for example, doesn't mean you should make a course that's about only like the course is be good at soccer, right? That's not going niche enough. We talked about, having a subtopic or a sub niche of your passion, and I see a lot of them coming in there. Adam, do you want to read some of them? Because it's hard to do both and show this screen at the same time.
Yep. Self-defense, optimizing small space living for people, cooking on a
Awesome.
budget, sugar-free diet, consultant, golf and classic rock, using a flashlight for self-defense, paleo for two on a $50 a week budget, health
Sweet.
and fitness, diabetes, flying, senior communicating with family long distance, bicycling, racing, training, and a lot more flying in here.
Awesome. Awesome. So in this training, what we're going to talk about, like our other trainings, we're going to do one basic training, and then at the end, it's open for Q&As. Adam is going to try to, comment back in the chat box while we're going through these slides. But at the end, you guys can ask us anything, about what we're talking about. So this training is all about creating your product. So once you have, a good idea for your product that's something that you enjoy, you're passionate about, but also something that you've kind of tested and found your avatar, and you're pretty confident that there's people out there that want to buy your solution. The next part is obviously creating your product. So that's like the fun thing. And we're going to kind of go into our system of how we create our products And some of you guys might be a little bit lost in terms of, what should my product even be? Should it be an ebook, videos? How do I do that? So we're going to go over all that stuff. And then at the end, we're going to talk about making a launch day. So that way you can, plan. So that way your product is all done by a certain day, because that's super, super important. So number one, and this is actually, a thing that a lot of people, it'll seem really obvious when we say it, but a lot of people have issues with this, because if you don't outline your product in a really easy way, you're going to have a lot of kind of upset customers. So you want to make sure you outline your product in a really easy to follow and systemic, like a system, step-by-step way. That way people can get your solution and get it in a really good and high value way. So what we do before every product is we do this, the number one. We outline everything. So we outline every single step that someone would need to take to get your solution and to implement it in their lives. So say your solution is having a correct golf swing, so you can drive the ball straight every time. What you need to do is break down everything that that person would need to correct their golf swing. So starting from absolutely zero, they can correct it. Because when it comes down to it, a lot of us are, we're passionate about our topics, so we know a lot more than the average person. And we're going to know a lot more than, the vast majority of people who are buying our products, because they're buying it to learn whatever we're teaching. So what you have to make sure you do is you break up your content into categories, okay? And these are really simple categories that allow you to kind of have chapters in your ebook or different sets of videos in your course that allows someone to follow step by step and not get lost, because that is your goal of your product. If you can take someone basically by the hand through your video content or through your ebook or whatever it is, and get them to their solution and they don't get lost along the way, you have a really awesome product. That's really what it comes down to it. So the way we like to kind of outline the product is the kindergartner test. All right. So here's the test. The test is you've outlined your whole product, and if you were to give all that information to a kindergartner, would they be able to follow along, or would they get lost in certain spots? All right. If you can get it so that a kindergartner would be able to figure it out and stay with you the whole way, step by step by step, then you have a solid outline. If not, and you're like, yeah, maybe they'll, get confused about this step because I kind of like skipped a part that I think that they'll know. Well, then you have to go back and make sure you add that in. Okay. So Adam, when we like create products around different niches, how is everything broken down? Like, what's the length of the content, and how do we give them like perfect little bite-sized chunks?
Well, the most important thing is really making sure that you don't add fluff into your product, into your content, because a lot of people think the more stuff you have inside of your content, the more stuff you have inside of your product, the more value there is. And that is true to a point. A lot of people try to just put in random stuff to make it seem like it's a lot of stuff inside of like a membership area or a video training area or an ebook, to make it seem like it's longer, and that way when they get there, the perceived value of all of this content is a lot higher. But once they start going through it, it actually confuses them even more and makes them not even want to continue, because there's a lot of fluff in between. So we always like to just keep things short and keep it right to the point of each topic, and make sure people really understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So it's very thorough, our product, but we don't add stuff in just for the heck of it, right? It's broken down so, if it's video training like you guys have seen inside of CBU, it's like a 5-minute video. That way it's really digestible. It's only the information that, is really needed, and that way you can move on to the next step. So making it in like short chunks, say you want to do like an hour of content or 2 hours of content for your course. Instead of doing like 3 videos and they're all 30 minutes each or whatever it is, it's better to break that up into 10 videos that are 6 minutes each, or 20 videos that are 6 minutes each, and That way, people can kind of skip to where they need to be, and they can also really follow along. Because one of the first products I ever bought was this course that was teaching people how to do like search engine optimization, and this was like 5 years ago. And I bought it, and it was two videos that were 3 hours each, and it was just absolutely horrible to stick through that. And if you don't break it up into very bite-sized chunks that are super only filled with content, which this course wasn't, it had a lot of fluff in it, which is why it was so long. It allows people to really stick with it and go step by step. So that is outlining your product. Okay. So once you have your product, what it is, what solution it solves, what's the biggest problem, you got to outline that and make sure that with your outline, it completely solves, the problem of the customer. All right. So the second step. All right. So now I have, a really nice outline. I have exactly what I want to talk about. It's going to be, 23 videos. It's going to be 16 ebook pages, whatever it is. You got to figure out, how am I packaging that, right? So is it written? Is it video? Or is it ongoing training? And Adam, do you want to go over these three and how we kind of recommend a certain one and why?
Yeah, for sure. So it really depends on what your niche is and kind of what kind of product you want to be creating. There's three things that we really like to focus on when we're creating a product. The first one is an ebook. The second one is video training. And then the third one is ongoing training, which is like a membership site. So when it comes to an ebook is basically, think of it as a physical book, but it's a digital version. So it's only written content and maybe pictures. So it's certain products, certain niches may not work well for an ebook, but then again, they may work very well for an ebook rather than video. So for example, for an ebook, if you wanted to demonstrate someone, how to have a perfect golf swing, that might be a little hard to explain with words and just pictures. I mean, it's possible to do, but it's not going to be the best to demonstrate that through an ebook versus, video training where you could actually show them step by step how to do the golf swing, the way to stand, and all that kind of stuff. So for a golf training product, video training would be the best choice for that. For an ebook, if you're doing recipes for, some sort of food item that you're going to be cooking, maybe it's a certain type of burrito, then it would be good for an ebook because you can have photos and you can have the actual recipe written out, in the ebook. So it really depends on what you want to do with your product and what niche you're in. For ongoing training, that's basically when you charge someone monthly to access like a membership area. It's exactly what you guys are doing right now for ClickBank University. It's ongoing training. Every week you guys come onto a live training with us. You guys get new training all the time inside of ClickBank University, and therefore it's ongoing training, and you pay monthly for access to it. So that's something that you really want to kind of map out on your own and figure out what your niche is and then how it fits into actually a product. What's the best package to put it into? What will make people understand, your content the best? And that's something that's very, very important. And if you're not comfortable with shooting videos, then ebook might be the way to go. But video training is specifically, in our opinion, the best way to create training, just because it's something that people can, watch from wherever they are. They can understand it because it's through video. You're talking, you're explaining something, and it's something that's very, very easy to kind of take in. Whereas ebook and written content, sometimes, it's hard to understand things. So in my opinion, like video training the best, and video training could be, part of ongoing training. What we have with ClickBank University is technically all video training with ebook stuff in there as well, but it's an ongoing training program. So that's something that you really have to understand and really figure out what's the best match for you.
Awesome. Yeah, so you can do kind of like that mix of, videos, and then at the bottom have like an ebook. Like for recipes, for example, it's definitely easier to have it written out for that as like an ebook, but you could also do, maybe it's a video of you making the recipe. That way it's more fun and interesting. And then at the bottom, there's a PDF or something with the recipe laid out. So you can definitely do a hybrid there, and you have to think about, what is easiest for the customer to understand, and it should give you a pretty good idea with the outline that you made, right? So what is the easiest way to convey all those different categories and all those different things we talked about in the outline? And for video training, since we did say that we really love doing that, and we think it's an amazing way to kind of convey your solution to the customer, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and we're really lucky that we live in a time where we can do it pretty easily. Like 10 years ago, even just 10 years ago, filming a video was hard. You have to buy like a really expensive big video camera thing and hold that around. But now there's things like your phone in your pocket, right? An iPhone or a smartphone. A lot of those shoot in HD right now, which is really cool. There's also your webcam. And another thing that you can also use is something called Camtasia, which is screen capture. And what that means is you can actually record whatever's happening on your screen. So this is good for certain things, maybe for other things it's not, like golf swing, probably not. But trying to teach someone how to set up a blog, screen capture is probably the best thing you can do. So those are the different things. What I want to see right now is in the chat, what do you think is best for your product? Are you going to do an ebook? Are you going to do video training? Or are you going to continuously be adding new content with ongoing training and do something like maybe an ebook or video training, but ongoing? That way you can have people pay you every single month for it. So let us know what you think your product is best for in that chat. Video, ebook, cool. Video, ongoing. Yeah. All right. Sweet. Okay, cool. So yeah, it totally depends, what your product is, and definitely think about what's the easiest to convey to your customer, because that's all that matters. Is they need to understand exactly what you are, what solution you're giving them. And that moves us to number 3. All right. So this is probably the most important thing, because a lot of times, if you have an idea what your product is, you outlined it, but then your kind of, work gets in the way, or, friends get in the way, or family gets in the way, which sometimes, it's not necessarily a horrible thing, but a lot of times we get distracted from completing stuff, right? So number 3 is something that Adam and I, and, I would like to say every, but almost every single person who makes, info products and does it really successfully has goals, and they have a launch date. So a launch date is the day that you need to be live. No matter what, you need to have something set up, and you need to be taking payments, and you need to be live. And even if it doesn't really matter, like even if you don't have a big campaign set to go on that day, and if you miss that day, you are screwed, and there's nowhere else you can make sales from, and that kind of thing. It doesn't really matter. The point is that if you set a hard day in your head and you write it down, you need to make sure you hit that day, and you need to act as if it is the final day, and you need to get everything done, because that is really the way to get things done. Because a lot of times, it's, I'll wait till next week to do that, or, you know what, I want to add something else later, so let me just wait. And we just push it back, and before you know it, 6 months have passed and you haven't launched your product, which is not what we want. So what we need you to do is set goals and a launch date. So the first thing is kind of setting a launch date. I want to launch in 2 months. I want to launch in a month, whatever it is. And then you go back from when you need to have your content done. You need to have all of your product done by a certain date. That way you can get it approved with ClickBank, right? So when we have this outline, you guys can probably do an outline in a day. That's it takes a lot of thinking, and you got to map it out, and that's kind of the hard part is creating a perfect outline. And then you just got to go and create your content, because you know exactly what videos you have to do, or exactly what chapters you have to write, and you need to set a goal for this. So say it is, I need to shoot 20 videos. I can set a goal for 2 weeks, because I know I'll shoot an average of a video a day, or a video and a half a day. So set a goal and make sure you hit that, and pretend as if you have to hit it no matter what, because that's been the easiest way to basically confirm that we're going to hit that day, is just to set it hard and say, you know what, I'm going to finish all this training in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is. And you'll be really amazed how fast you can do it once you get going. It's really hard in the beginning. The first video you shoot might be a little bit awkward or something because you're not confident in it yet. It's the first time for everything, or the first page that you write of your ebook might be tough to get it started. But then once you really get a hand of it and you do it consistently, it gets easier and easier. And it's totally up to you how long it's going to take. But for example, Adam and I, when we have a different niche that we're going to do and we're going to launch a product, we can really crank out stuff. Like we'll say, you know what, I'll write 50 pages of this ebook in a week, and I'll shoot 30 videos in a week, and we actually can get things done that quick. But it's completely up to you, and you have to make sure that you set goals, and that way you hit them for sure. So first goal is you need to set a goal for when you start. All right, when are you going to have your outline done? And when are you going to start shooting your content? So what I want you to do is take out a piece of paper and a pen, or take out your phone or your calendar on your computer or your phone or something like that, and let me know when that is out. So write yes in the chat box when that is done. All right, okay, cool. So lots of yeses. And what I want you to do right now is, think about this week. And when are you going to sit down and do this outline? The sooner the better. So don't just be like, oh, I'm going to do it at the end of the week. Think the sooner the better. When are you going to just go ahead and write this outline? Maybe it's after work. Maybe it's before work. Maybe it is, before picking up your kids from school. Maybe it's, at night when you say goodnight to the wife and then you just stay up and crank it out. Because what you need to do is set time slots available for you to complete your goals. And if you do that, that's how you actually complete them. Because if you don't set time away and you're like, yeah, this is my goal, but I'll do it whenever I can kind of thing, it gets really, really tough. So your first goal, and I want you to write this down, is when are you going to do your outline? So write the word outline and then write the date that you're going to do it. It needs to be done by this date. All right? Let me know in the chat when you're done with that. All right, cool. So you guys have that date. It shouldn't be, in 3 weeks from now. It should literally be in like 2 days from now or 3 days or whatever the heck you want to do. But try to make it really soon. All right? Yes. Okay, cool. Now what I want you to do is, since your outline's going to be done by that day, the next thing is finishing your content. Okay? Whether it's shooting videos on your iPhone, shooting videos on your computer, shooting videos on your webcam, shooting videos with your friend's camera, or maybe writing an ebook on your computer and saving it as a PDF. All right? So what I want you to do is write down when are you going to have all of that stuff done. You'll get a better idea, when you make your outline, because you'll see, I have to do 35 videos. I didn't expect I had to do that many. Or, oh, I only have to do 11 and the customer will understand everything. Perfect. But what I want you to do is write down the date, because it really doesn't matter how long your content is, because it's more of a mental thing. And if you say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. So write down the date that all of your content is going to be done. Maybe it's in 2 weeks from now. Maybe it's in 3. Let us know. Maybe it's in a week. All right, so put however long in the chat. All right, 2 weeks, 10 days. Awesome. A month, that's okay. As long as you make sure you hit your day. Cool. All right, so now the next thing, which you're gonna get a much better sense of, is your launch day. And you're gonna get a much better sense of this once you have played around with the website builder and all that kind of stuff, because you'll see how easy it is to set that up. and all the other aspects you need to actually sell, which we're going to be going in the next trainings. So what I want you to do right now, though, is have those two goals set up. Okay? When are you going to have your outline done, and when is your content going to be done? Because then you have the fun stuff of putting it together and seeing it come alive. So let me see a big yes in the chat once that's done. All right, lots of yeses. Yes, 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 yes. All right, cool. All right, Adam, is there anything that you want to add here?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything. I mean, the biggest thing is when you set your goal, you just need to make sure that you hit that goal and kind of look at it as if you have no other option. If you don't hit that goal, you basically fail and you can't even launch your product. Like, you really have to be strict about the deadline because, it's one thing if you just say a goal and you're like, oh, okay, it's almost there, but I'll give myself an extra 3 days afterward. That won't work because then you're going to keep giving yourself time. So really be strict about the time for when you finish something. And if you are strict about that and you don't give yourself any more time after that and say it's either that or nothing, then you'll make sure that you finished it by that time. So that's a really, really good thing to do.
Awesome. Yeah, you have to be really strict on yourself about it because once you start letting a couple days go, it really just kind of like accumulates and snowballs. Like if you ever maybe you were going to the gym every day, but then all of a sudden you didn't go one day, and then the next day you're like, "Yeah, I'm too tired." And then you realize it's been like 2 weeks and you didn't go. Any of you guys get that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I get that all the time. So you have to keep it as a habit and make sure that you stay on track and you do what you have to do to get everything done. All right, so let's open it up to Q&As, and I want you guys to ask us anything you want. Hopefully you have everything written down, saved on your calendar, on your computer, written down on a piece of paper, nice and big, anything like that. But let us know in the chat, and we'll do some Q&A about this whole creating your product training.
Here's a good question. What is the best day to launch a product? Is it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so on? And what we've seen from testing it out, Tuesdays have been the best day for us because it tends to be that most people buy on a Tuesday. So I would say Tuesday would be the day that we think is the best.
Yep.
Jack, it takes about 3 to 5 days for ClickBank to approve your product.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the ClickBank builder is that it already has a lot of the ClickBank stuff. Like you have to have certain terms of service, all that kind of stuff, and it's all built in. That way, you go through the funnels, you click them, you add whatever content you want, and it has the right disclaimer at the bottom and has all that kind of stuff. So that'll help you a lot because I know we actually forget about a lot of that stuff. We'll miss a little piece here or there, and it ends up taking a week or something or 2 weeks to get approved because of that.
Tony, do you think single page long copy sites sell better than tour style websites? It's something that you really have to test with your niche. From what we've seen, video sales pages convert the best in the niches that we're in, where it's basically just a headline and a video and then a button underneath the video to join. But it really all depends on what niche you're in, because in some niches, long sales copy pages convert better than video. And then in other niches, a more professional with a menu bar and a more corporate looking structured website convert better. So it really depends on what niche you're in. But from what we've tested in most niches, the best are the video sales pages, which is basically a video with a button underneath to buy.
Yep. And that those videos, by the way, when we talk about sales videos, so one, for example, is you saw Adam and I talking about ClickBank University and stuff, and that's when you join. But you can also do really simple video sales letters and video sales pages where the video is just a PowerPoint and you're just talking about, what the product has and all the benefits and, all the things it's going to do for the customer. So when we say, videos almost always do better than like long text, which you don't see anymore that much. Uh, it could also be text in the video and just a simple PowerPoint that keeps people engaged and has a voice behind it. So don't worry, you don't have to like show your face to make a really good sales video. It's actually a lot of times it's proven to do better just having text and be a simple PowerPoint, not even like designed or anything. So we're going to actually be talking about that. Now you can create a really good sales video that's going to convert really well and not really have to pay anything for production. So it's something really cool that we're going to talk about.
Audrey, you say you have trouble packaging your product. It's a service like life coaching, but you don't know if it makes more sense to launch it as an ebook or continuous training or blog. All three are so different. Well, if it's life coaching, I'm assuming that you're always going to want to be updating them with new information and new content. So what I recommend is making it into a continuous training members area where they pay monthly to access your new content that you distribute to them maybe once a week, once a month, depending on what you're comfortable with doing. But I would definitely say a continuous training members area would be the best.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another thing you can do is like these. It's called a go-to webinar, and you can host a webinar. And it's a live training every week, and you can record it and put it up inside the members area. And that's the new videos that you can have every week. It's like a hangout, which adds a lot of value too. All right, here's a good one from Stefan. Okay, so you have your product ready, and then what do you do? That's a great question, and I hope a lot of you guys were thinking about that. Because once you have your product ready, what you have to do is drive traffic to it. Okay, so having your product ready and putting it online with the builder is great, but if you don't send anyone to it, or you don't get other people to send people to it with like joint ventures and affiliates, then no one's going to see it. So what you have to do is drive a lot of targeted traffic and do an affiliate campaign and that kind of stuff, which we're going to be talking about in the other trainings. It's also inside CVU, where you're going to see how to do social media marketing. You can do some paid traffic. You can do some review marketing. You can do some team up with joint ventures and affiliates. That way they promote your product for you. That's the one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing about ClickBank, is that once you have a product and you promote it and it goes up into the marketplace, you're going to find affiliates promote it for you. So affiliates jump on it, they promote your product for you. They don't know who you are, you don't know who they are. They just click promote in the marketplace, and then they send it to their email list, they put it on their website, they do all sorts of things to try to make commissions. And you know and it's an awesome thing. All of our products are making sales almost every day for every product we've ever made, just from affiliates promoting it, even years and years after we've launched them. So it's something really awesome, and we're going to be having specific conversations just about how to get affiliates to promote your product, so you don't have to do the traffic generation, and they'll do it for you. Christy, are there ever any issues with trademark names when marketing a product? Well, if you can buy the domain, you're pretty much safe for calling your product whatever your domain is. But you can always check and see if someone has a trademark, but we've never had that issue. All right, here's a cool one. Ron, can we email you the outline for critique as well as the product along the way? Yeah, you can message me anytime inside ClickBank University. Just click on my, profile whenever you see me comment somewhere, and you can send me a direct message. That would probably be the best. All right, Bridget, what is the ideal number of pages for a good ebook? Well, the pages isn't really what matters. It's more like the content. So let's say I have, 10 pages and it basically outlines exactly what I have to do for my problem, and it solves whatever problem that your customer is facing. What you can do is you should add things to it like images or maybe like, different aspects and spacing and things like that. So it can end up being 50 pages long because it has a lot of tools that help the customer along the way. And it also, builds a little bit of extra value with images and things like that. So, I mean, I've seen ebooks that have 30 pages and I've seen ebooks that have 150 pages. So anywhere in between there is pretty good. All right, Donna, if if you're stuck on your product, whatever that is, go back inside the training area. You can check out any of the videos under the beginner section about, finding your passion and narrowing that down into a profitable product, or you can watch the recorded training session from last week, which is in the recorded training area. So every single week, we're recording these and we're going to put them up in the recorded training area inside CBU. That way you guys, if you miss one, that's okay. You can always watch it over there. All right, Tony, I've noticed that some of the successful ClickBank websites are typically single pages, um, with almost amateur website. Well, the best converting websites are really simple, Tony. So, you might have something that's so beautiful, but it's like complex and it takes users to different tabs and the call to action isn't really clear. And those are things that are going to actually hurt you. So it doesn't matter how great your sales page looks necessarily. It's more about how well it conveys a message to your customer. So yeah, we're going to go through those and what the best selling ClickBank sites are, and kind of break them down and do kind of a case study and show you why they implemented certain things, and that way you can see why they're so successful. So the cool thing about ClickBank is that if you have a product that starts selling really well, more and more affiliates will jump on it and promote it for you. So you want to make sure that you know the right way to get people to convert once they hit your website or your sales page. All right, Stefan, where do you get your disclaimer? Um, well, the ClickBank Builder actually has that whole thing kind of built out. You can check it out, inside that builder.
If you guys want to see a good converting site, Don asked here, I would just go to ClickBank and check out what the most popular ones are on there right now, and just go and look at those, and those ones will be the best converting sites out there right now. So you can kind of base it off of that. But Justin, what is the name of the one that's number one right now on ClickBank?
Yeah, it's the Venus Factor,
The Venus Factor.
I,
So
I
that
believe.
product I would say is a good one to go look at for a good converting site.
All right. Yeah, so can we see what ClickBank is required for approval? So yeah, there's a whole video on that. Adam, I think you did that one. Do you remember what you called it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It's probably like get approved or something like that, John.
Yeah, it's when you get your product approved and how to like submit your product and stuff.
Cool. Awesome. All right, here's a good one. Michael, this is going to be my first product launch. Is it better to get this out quickly as possible, quick and dirty, and then do an actual product launch and do all the promotion after the fact? Or should I try to get at least a decent launch strategy up with my first launch? Well, Michael, the really important thing actually is that your product is running really smoothly. So what that means is you should try to get it up really quick, and then you're going to start seeing how it's converting, and you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to try to do different things, maybe change your video, maybe add a different button, maybe something in your process is a little messed up and it's making people confused. So you're going to want to make sure you get your product out first. You do that 80% rule, you get it out, and then you're going to start tweaking it and changing it, and then you're going to kind of go to affiliates and be like, hey, check out my product, it's converting really well, these are the metrics, and that's really the right way to do it. So if you're just launching a product out of nowhere and you don't even know if it's going to work really well and convert, and affiliates aren't going to know that, it's not going to be that good. So you want to make sure that you get it out, you test it yourself, you do some of the traffic generation strategies we've talked about and we're going to talk about, and then you kind of see how customers like it, and you're going to tweak it, and then you'll go after a full-blown product launch, which will be really fun. All right, here's a cool one. As far as videos go, I noticed a lot of videos lately are simulated sketches, where a hand is drawing while the voice is over it is running. Yeah, so we've done videos like that. They've converted really well. The way we've gotten them done is we went to a website called Elance, and that allowed us to outsource it. And basically, we found some guy that would do the whole thing for us, because we're not about to go ahead and try to do it ourselves and that kind of thing. It's all about leveraging other people and doing what we do best. Hey Arlen, make sure to check out the Google Key Planner tool, um, Keyword Planner, I think is what it's called now, and check that out. It's in the last video, in the last training, under recorded training sessions. And in that session, the one we did right before this one, the week before, we talk about how you can actually see how many people are searching for your problem online. That'll give you a really good idea if people are already looking online for your product and they're facing the problem. Hey Steve, it's definitely better to have upsells. So Steve asked, is it better that I just launch a single product when it's complete, or is it better to have several products? And it's definitely better to have several products. You can maybe start with 2 or 3. And if you're kind of confused about that, what that means is you have your core product. Say my core product is how to make an awesome Thanksgiving dinner, right? So that is my core product. People buy it. And then I kind of want to think of, what else can I offer people right after they buy? That way it has a really good chance of them paying me more money for some other content. And you want to do stuff that's like complimentary, like, how to make the best Thanksgiving dessert, right? So that is something that a lot of people are going to buy who are interested in making a really good Thanksgiving dinner. Or something else can be kind of a piece that you're just going to leave out of your main product. It's not something that's necessary for your main product, but it's something that will boost your main product. Like, what is a shortcut to cook a turkey 1 hour quicker, right? That could be your upsell. So even if you don't think that you have products to offer as upsells, what you can do is kind of break down your core product. That way your core product is even more core, right? It has more of a basic level and it solves the solution, but you have an upsell that maybe turbo boosts that solution, right? It makes it go quicker, it gives you better results, that kind of thing. is there a relationship between the length of words or the content and what you charge? Actually, Stefan, not really. So a lot of people think that, the more content you have, the more you can charge for it, and that's kind of not true. Like, for example, if I was going to say, you know, I'm going to teach you how to cook a turkey, and it's an amazing ebook. It's 4,000 pages, and you're going to learn exactly how to cook a turkey in those 4,000 pages, and it's going to be awesome. Or if I said, hey, you're going to learn how to cook a turkey, it's only 3 pages long. I would rather buy the 3 pages one, right? So there's not really a relationship between, the length of the content and what you charge. It's more about value, and value is something completely man-made. So if you solve a problem in a really good way that's really efficient and effective, you can charge a lot for that. It doesn't matter how long it is. All right, Tony, does ClickBank ever plan on moving into physical product fulfillment and processing? Well, they actually have something like that with um, fulfilling physical products. So you're going to want to check into that. I don't think they do the actual fulfillment for you, but they have a partner that does it. And you can actually sell physical products with ClickBank as well. We just love digital because, it's automatic. We don't have to do anything. There's no costs. There's no ongoing cost, like variable costs. And yeah.
Cool. I'm answering a ton of questions with typing it in, guys, so I'm sure you guys see that flying in, so bear with me as I don't talk here.
Awesome. Well, it actually looks like we're getting to the end of these. So let us know, you guys, if you have any questions. If you want to go a little bit off topic, that's okay, slightly, but not too far. But let us know in the chat here as we're closing in on these. All right, let's see here. Dude, Juana, what if you have too many ideas? One at a time. You got to do whatever you think has the highest leverage, and you can crank out the fastest and has the best you're most passionate about, and has the most uh, eager consumers that want to buy your product. All right, Paul, what are your thoughts regarding newer sites with video backgrounds like PayPal, Prezi? Yeah, I really think those are cool, but there's a big difference between thinking they're cool and actually having them convert. So I'm sure PayPal's new website is converting, but all that you have to do, I think, is like enter in your email or something like that. So it's very specific and very easy. Whereas, if you have videos playing in the background and there's a video playing on the page and all this stuff going on, it might get really confusing and distracting. but it's something that you can definitely test. All right, awesome. Ron, if I'm going to show seniors how to use Skype to see their grandkids, for example, and there's a lot of manuals out there, and how do you compete, differentiate? Can you use some of the manuals and kind of take some of the best parts? Well, the first thing about competing and differentiating is it's important, but in the end, if a grandparent lands on your page and they want to learn how to Skype, and you have a very specific, and it's all about just how to Skype with your grandkids for older people, and it lays it out in a really easy and step-by-step way, then it doesn't really matter that there's other manuals out there, because that person who's on your page is going to decide, do I buy this or do I not? They're not really thinking, there are a small percentage of people, but not very many people are thinking, is there a competition in this niche? Should I go and check somewhere else? Because they're not searching for that until they actually land on your page, right? So there is a weird thing with competition with online digital products, and it's not really that big of a deal as long as you can have a good, a hook, and it really captures the emotions of whoever's landing on your page. The second thing is, can I use some of the information of manuals and cut out the best parts? You can't cut out the best parts and like copy paste them, for example, but you can learn from them and you can implement them in your own way, in your own words, and that kind of stuff. You can definitely do that. But what I would say is to make sure that your Skype ebook or Skype video training is something that competes or competes. I'm doing like the thing with my fingers, like in quotes. Um, all you have to do is just show that there's a lot of value. That's it. So as long as you show that there's value and you really hit on the spots of, are you ever frustrated with technology and you just want to, get a deeper understanding and connection with a different generation who understands that technology, and connect with your grandkids and see them whenever you want. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it for this price. I think there should be no reason why that's an issue. That's a really good idea. There's a big course on ClickBank that's about how to use an iPad for seniors, for example, and that's doing really, really well. All right, Don, what is the biggest upsell price that you'd recommend? Like, how much should I charge? Well, it totally depends what you're offering, right? A lot of people think price matters, but in reality, it's more about like the offer. And I've seen upsells from $37 or like $19 to $200. So it all depends the value. And the first upsell is the one where most people are going to buy compared to any other upsell. So you generally want that one to be a higher priced one. All right, Michael, how important are upsells and bonuses for the initial launch? So upsells are different than bonuses. Upsells are, after you buy, and bonuses, for example, are things that make people want to buy the initial product more, right? Because here's a bonus, I'll give you this for free, so you should buy this. But upsells, I mean, you can have a product without an upsell, but here's the thing. If your upsell converts at 30% and it's $100, that is an extra $30 per customer. So say your initial product is, $37. If you didn't have that upsell, you would make $37. If you had that upsell, you would make $67 per customer. If you have 100 customers, you'd make, 3,000. If you had 100 customers with upsell, you'd make 6,700. So that's the difference there. Completely up to you, but if you do the math there, it should you can see how it really can help. All right, Paul. What are pop-ups called when you attempt to leave a site? They're called exit pops. And that basically says, wait, don't leave. I have something really cool for you. Stay on this page and I'll tell you what it is. And those are actually pretty effective, even though they're annoying. And you're going to want to, you could try that and test it and see if it really makes a change. And we're going to talk about those and exactly what it means. And they're also in the CBU training. You're going to see that in the curriculum. We have a whole section just about, exit pops. Because you're about to exit the page and something pops up on your screen. So exit pop.
Cool. So I've gone through as many as I possibly could so far with typing in over here. So hopefully you guys got your questions answered. If you didn't, I apologize. There's quite a lot of people on here asking a lot of questions, so for us to keep up with each one is a little tough and it gets lost sometimes, so we're doing our best to answer every single one here.
No problem, man. And you're welcome, Paul.
Great. Okay, cool. So it looks like they have come to a halt. So with that being said, um, we're going to kind of get into what your homework is for next week when we talk again on the next live training. Justin, do you want to go into that real quick?
Yeah, definitely. So I hope you were interactive when we were talking about setting your goals. So that's the first thing is you need to do that. You should do that today. But before the next week, what I want you to do, maybe your goal was I'll finish the outline in a week. Maybe it was 2 weeks. For most of you guys, I hope it was 1 week because you guys can crank out that outline. And it's all about keeping momentum. So your homework for next week is create that outline. Okay. So if your goal is, I'm going to create it in 2 weeks, then at least have, half or do something with your outline. For most of you guys, hopefully it is finish it within 1 week. It really takes like a day of sitting down for a couple hours and just cranking it out and being like, what should my next video be? What should the next chapter be? And breaking it down. So make sure to do that, or at least start that if your goal is to do it later. And I think that is the best thing. And that way, you have a plan, and that way you can get rolling. Because once you have that, it's actually, we always say that that's the hardest part because it mentally is, because you have to figure out what is this video about, what is the next one, what's the next one. But then once you once you want to shoot it or once you want to write it, it's pretty easy because you know what you're going to talk about. So that is your goal. So let me see a big yes that you guys are going to finish that for the homework for next week. All right. All right. Lots of yeses. John, Audrey, Ani, Joseph, Steve, Marshall, Don, John, William, Erlen, Nancy, Jack, Ron. All right, perfect. Because that is important, guys. The biggest thing, literally the biggest thing, is keeping that momentum and just going after it. And I'm super hyped that you guys are doing this because I know how much it's changed our lives. And it's all because we took a step, we took a leap, and we actually sticked with it. There's going to be some obstacles, there's going to be hardships, but we're here for you guys. So any questions you have, instead of trying to figure it all yourself, we're here for you. And yeah, so let me see in the chat if you guys understood everything in this training. It was excellent, it was awesome, it was good, it was okay, it was whatever. Let me know in the chat. That way, we can show everyone at ClickBank, and we have a good idea. All right. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, get to it. There's no better time than now. So go ahead if you want to finish that outline today. That would be awesome. If you want to finish it within the week, that is good with your homework. So we will see you on the next training, and have an awesome week and have an awesome night.
Cool, guys. Thanks again for coming on, and we'll talk to you next week. See
All
you
right.
later.
See ya.